Louisiana All-American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you wanna talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Eric Hatfield and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. To hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this and get your popcorn ready for you better not miss. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana. It's Joker B. Check this out.
Ooh, I'm just so fresh, so clean. Good morning, Baton Rouge. It is a gorgeous Saturday morning. Today is February the 13th, a lucky February the 13th, 2016, and you are tuned in for the 7th edition in the year 2016 of the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Good morning. This is Eric Hatfield.
And I'm Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P.
And Coach Perry Daniels will be joining us live from the nation's capital very shortly. He's getting his Yamastay on right now, and we're expecting him any minute now, any day now. Yes, indeed. Oh, it's a great day for sports, man. It's just it's kind of a sad day for sports too, because there's no more football till there's nothing that even resembles football until August.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
What a season!
I know it was a great sports season. Obviously, it's always better when the Saints are more relevant. So that was kind of a letdown. But the total story of the National Football League I thought was very compelling, and I think for the average pro football fan. Maybe not around here. It was a really good season, but like all of us, we're all looking for whether you're the fan of the Denver Broncos or who's on the clock. Who is it? Carolina. I'm gonna say Carolina. Tampa. I don't even know who's on the clock. Who's got the first pick in the draft?
I want to say it's Tennessee.
I think it is the Titans. You're right. Whether you're a Broncos fan or a Tennessee Titans fan, everyone's still looking forward to next season. Shoot.
Yeah, well, most definitely, man. Well, we had a great game last night, also.
Oh, we had a fantastic game. If you're a McKinley Panthers fan, we bring you heavy doses of District 5A on the Louisiana All-American Sports Game of the Week for a couple of reasons. Number one, we are right in the McKinley High School, in the heart of the McKinley High School community. So, heart of the McKinley High School community. So, obviously, we're gonna deliver what's in the community, but also District 5A is, in my opinion, the best athletic district of the major sports in the Baton Rouge area.
Yeah.
And you got McKinley, you got East Ascension, you got Catholic High, you got Dutchtown, you got Santa Maria, you got Broadmoor. The Broadmoor Buccaneers are kind of building their program up. I've seen little baby steps with the Buccaneers this year.
Yeah.
And I see some talent. They have a player named Devin Carlin who was, frankly, it was a lopsided game. It was 86-61 if I remember the final score correctly.
Yes.
But that kid was, I even said last night, he would have been our player of the game if the game just weren't so ugly. If it was even close and they lost.
Yeah.
He had a heck of an effort. But anyway, I say all that to say we had the McKinley Panthers hosting the Broadmoor Buccaneers in the bottom. McKinley came out early. They kicked the doors down, kicked the doors in. They got off to a quick start in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Tyrese Radford, number 23, the sophomore we've been telling you about over and over and over again here on the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. He was our Louisiana All-American Sports Player of the Game yet again for the second time this year. And oopsie daisy, we'll get his props. But he was our Louisiana All-American Sports Player of the Week, second time this year, and an outstanding performance last night, particularly in the second quarter, as he really jump-started his team and made it from what was a game in which McKinley had an advantage to where they really blew the doors open on both ends. He was getting guys open, finding men open in the corner for three-point shots, stealing the ball, really pushing up the pace in transition. He made a comment last night during the post-game interview that, there we go, better late than ever, but big props for Tyrese Radford.
Yeah, big props.
But yeah, look, he made a remark last night that, they had gotten a little lazy on defense, and you could kind of see them pick the pace up in the second quarter. When they did, Broadmoor Broadmoor was finished by halftime. There were some gone pecans. So great effort. Pushes the McKinley Panthers to 8-0 on the season. They are, strike that, 8-0 in district play. They're riding officially an 11-game winning streak, 10 games on the court. One was via forfeit, but they've won. They haven't lost in a very, very long time is the point that I'm getting at. And a win tomorrow, strike that, a win. They're playing tonight against White Castle in a non-district game, a return matchup, but a win on Tuesday night as they host the East Ascension Spartans. That win will secure the McKinley Panthers' first district championship since 1996. First district championship in 20 years. When Coach Perry Daniels informed us of that last night, I was kind of stunned. Yeah, because because McKinley, look, they've been competitive. They've been they were state runner-ups just a few years ago. They've not had a bad basketball team that I ever know. Some have been better than others. So in a 16 district to think this team has gone 20 years without a district title was what kind of left my mouth agape. And I relayed that to Coach Marcus Williams in the post-game interview, and he had this look of shock on his face, almost like initially I thought maybe I had my facts wrong. And he was like, really? I didn't know that. I'm looking around. Yeah, Coach, that's the last one I see, 1996. And he was like, wow. And I just asked him, I said, look, does that factor into the equation? He's like, no, they don't. These kids weren't even born then. We just got to take care of business, which is exactly what you do. Look, East Ascension on paper, we thought at the start of the year was the best team in that district. McKinley went there and took one. That's what put them in the driver's seat for district honors. So they've just got to keep that up, and they got to defend the home court, and they got to make it happen. They got to do it. They do it. They wrap up district play, and there's no sharing. There's no nothing. There's no fate. You don't have to rely on anybody. I'm not saying kick back and relax, but what I am saying is that 1996 is a long time ago, and these kids are about to make history.
Yeah, man, it was a great game last night and a big game. Come to find out, as you stated, with the district up for grabs. Pretty much, they're in the driver's seat. They're going to have the home game Tuesday against East Ascension by winning on the road. So they're in the driver's seat to take this district. And I think with the team I'm seeing now with the 11-game win streak, this team has came together, and this team has really playing on another level right now, defensively. Wow, that's why I was mostly impressed with Tyrese Radford with his defense. Mm-hmm. We talk about his offense. He has a great first step. He has vision on the court. I noticed last night he told me he's been working on his game, watching James Harden. Both of them are left-handed. And he has that Euro step, that side step to avoid the charge. And I noticed early in the season he used to drive in the lane and he would, get called for charges a lot. And he smiled when I talked to him. He said, yeah, I've been working on that. And he had about 3 or 4 3-point plays last night doing exactly that, being able to avoid the defender and still lay the ball on the glass and get the bucket. He led the team actually last night with 20 points. Andrea Lee had 13 and Marcus Coleman had 11. With Broadmoor, we talked about Carlin. Carlin had 28 points last night. Anthony Dry, the other guard, had 20, which they're pretty much a guard-oriented team.
Absolutely.
And so McKinley pretty much had to just let those guys get theirs, and they dominated rebound and dominated on the inside, and they just, had the game from the start to finish pretty much.
They really did. Tyrese Radford, he had that, like you said, he did draw charges early in the year. It looked like almost when he went to the lane, like you said, there were at least 3 or 4 3-point plays, several. There was quite a few. And what I noticed was it was almost like he went to the air and his body, let's say, went to the left from his point of launch. So the defender's expecting a charge, and then it's like almost instinctively he steps into him. So now he's giving up the foul on the charge, and it's a bang-bang play. And less, experienced high school basketball players are going to be more likely to bite on that bait. And that's exactly what happened, and that helped his team out. That is going to help his team out in postseason play.
Yes,
there's no getting around that.
And you mentioned something about district play, about the coach. Coach Williams may have not known the last time when McKinley did win district. Now that he does know, and a lot of these kids wasn't even born then, right?
And if you don't know, now you know.
I don't know. Should you tell them? Should you put that type of pressure on them, or should you just let them play loose and not try to make it as a big deal?
Well, like when I spoke to him last night in the post-game interview, he said straight up, that's not even going to factor into the equation. So I'm assuming he probably won't put that kind of pressure on his team.
Just like we got a call. Seems like we got a coach calling in. I also wanted to say that we want to give a shout out and say Happy Valentine's Day to our listeners that's out there. This is basically the Valentine's Day edition of the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. And so we got Coach Perry on the line. Coach, you there? All right. We want to welcome you.
Well, thank you. I've got about till about 20 minutes to the hour, so I guess that gives us about 20 minutes.
Coach, I told everybody you were getting your Yamastay on.
Yeah. The He doing this yoga thing.
Not today. Actually, on Saturdays, I'm off to another venture that I'm taking on. You know, I was always taught that, life should be a series of attempts to accomplish specific projects.
I agree.
So I have a new project, and hopefully before year's end, I will have completed that and moved on.
Can you share that with us, Coach?
Not quite ready to share it just yet, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the appropriate time, I will definitely share that with our listening audience along the way. Yes.
Did you get a chance to listen to the game last night? What you think?
Absolutely, man. And forgive me, guys. I know how frustrating it can be when you're trying to do something and someone's trying to tell you to do this and do that. So forgive me.
Oh no, Coach, makes the game better. I mean, really, it makes the broadcast better. Seriously. Shoot, that's good. That was great information.
Okay. Well, good. No, I did listen to the game. Do we have our player of the game in studio?
He's not in studio. Of course, this is our player of the game. Is now he's becoming a regular person to mention. That's Tyrese Radford. I wasn't sure if he was coming in studio or not this morning, but of course we had a chance to talk to young Tyrese a couple of weeks ago. But no, he's not in studio this morning.
Okay. Well, good. So the next time there's a McKinley game broadcast and he's the player of the game, make sure that you all invite someone along with him.
Sure.
So that the team aspect will remain intact down there at McKinley.
Absolutely, Coach.
Absolutely, great point. What do you think about the district not winning district in so long?
Man, and most people are shocked by that statistic.
Right.
Well, Coach Williams was.
We've had state championship appearances, state final appearances since '96, when the last time they won district. That team was coached by Joseph Williams, a '83 graduate of McKinley High. And he was the last coach all of those years that Coach Moore was there. He was never able to win a district championship. Even the 8-loss season, they lost 5 times to that undefeated Glen Oaks team. They did not win the district championship. So this is a huge accomplishment if they pull it off Tuesday night.
I'll tell you, I know we're not supposed to. Well, I mean, y'all can root. Y'all are alumni. I forced myself upon the alumni base. I'm definitely rooting for them on Tuesday. I'd love to see that for that community and for that team, especially when you consider the ups and downs and highs and lows that that team has experienced this year.
Of course, when you talk about the highs and the lows, the highs, of course, is being in a position to win the district.
Absolutely.
The lows is some news we got last night about Coach Boudreaux. Coach, do you have any information on that?
No, gentlemen, no, I don't.
Well, Louisiana All-American. Well, as I said at the very top of in the pregame show last night, what I will commit to is to relay what I know to be fact, what has been reported in reliable sources of media, and then give opinions on the issues, not the people involved. What I do know factually is that Coach Harold Boudreaux will not be back on the McKinley bench for the remainder of the year. That's, and I would assume never again. Obviously, I would think that's final at this point. I spoke to him very briefly last night. I know he very much desired to finish what he started. He's actually said that to me more than once. I want to get more information from folks who've done the gumshoe work, the boots on the ground detective work, and before I make too many more commentaries. But what was reported is that he was suspended a few weeks ago. He was back on the bench just 1 week ago on the Louisiana All-American Sports Game of the Week, interestingly. We had Dale Brown and Collis Temple and other local basketball royalty in attendance. The team seemed charged, and then a pregame show started at 7. I want to say at 6:48, I learned that Coach Boudreaux was that he's not coming back. So That's what we know right now. There's a lot of speculation. I first heard about the story in a barbershop, like less than a quarter of a mile from, within walking distance of McKinley High School. The community is very tightly knit. So, I mean, I'd heard about that right before a broadcast in a barbershop locally. So people talk about this stuff, but I would not be doing Coach Boudreaux or McKinley or the LHSAA or anybody any justice by speculating on innuendo. So I'm just going to go with what I know, and I know that there was an incident, there was some conflict. He was suspended, he came back, and now he's not coming back. That's what I know.
Right. Well, man, it's just very unfortunate that had to happen, man. But I have to give McKinley a little credit. Actually, the basketball team for still sticking in there and playing and being on this win streak and not letting that deter them from their ultimate goal. And of course, we support Coach Boudreaux here at Louisiana All-American Sports. Great guy,
big friend of the show.
Big friend of the show. So I'm just disappointed, and that it had to end that way.
Yeah, so Coach Boudreaux has not coached his last basketball game. I guarantee that.
No, I meant at McKinley, Coach. If I wasn't clear on that a minute ago.
I know. But I just want to inform the listening audience, though, he's that good. He has support from high levels. As an example, Dale Brown was down at McKinley the other day, and I'm not sure he's been back there since recruiting Ethan Martin. He's going to be, Coach Boudreaux's going to be fine. He may have to step out of the East Baton Rouge Parish school system.
Oh, he's done that already.
To coach again. I understood that he was going to maintain his teaching duties.
Ah, I see.
Yes,
I see.
Even though he was removed from coaching the basketball team.
Coach, I think as soon as I said the word, Coach Boudreaux will not be returning to the bench at McKinley this year. I think his phone might have started ringing off the hook with these West Baton Rouge and Ascension exchanges calling up because
one man's trash. One man's trash.
Oh yeah. Well, like you said, I think Coach hit the nail on the head. I don't think it'll be long. I think he'll be able to have a cup of coffee before they start asking him to coach. He's the one. I said this at the top of the broadcast when we started this experiment. I met, Perry introduced me to Coach Boudreaux back in 2011 when we were covering the Bruley tournament. I had a chance to chat, and we were just starting something. He didn't have to give us the time of day. He did. He liked what we were doing, and he was always extremely supportive of us when there was not necessarily anything in it for him. When we were fledgling, anything you need, you call me. You want to cover our games, call me. You need, he made himself extremely accessible to us, and he's one of those folks. Without he and several other coaches, we wouldn't be here, delivering the news to the city now the way we do. And I watched him coach that Bruley team, and Bruley just seemed to be in another very competitive district, probably the district we bring to you the next most after 5A is 6-3A. I thought they were always just in a slight talent deficit because they're a public school. They have to take what they have, even though that community is very supportive. And I thought he always made the most of what he had. So when I heard over the summer that he was going to McKinley, it was like the light went off. I said, oh, this is it. This is what's going to break that. This was finally going to put that team over the top. So to watch the chain of events unfold the way it has, and we've covered McKinley very closely since day one, since we stopped being exclusive to one school. It's disappointing, but it looks like those young kids have just. Kids are tough. We always talk when a kid has a spill or a twist of an ankle, how, wow, I couldn't take that tumble. My body wouldn't recover as quickly. Kids are also mentally tough. Those kids are mentally tough. And they have kept on keeping on and have kept on winning. And I really hope that it takes a village, and I hope that Coach Boudreaux's contribution helps get this team to the top 28 and to the championship.
Well, we're definitely going to be rooting for him. And so I think McKinley's like I said, I just want to give them props for being able to stick together through the thick and thin and keep it pushing. We also got a few more local scores here. I want to get to. Bel Air beats Plaquemine 56-49, and man, that was a pretty good game. We covered both of those teams, Bel Air and Plaquemine, and I'm glad to see Bel Air is doing what they're doing. Denham Springs wins over Central 56-46.
Watch them.
And
Joker, can I jump in on that Bel Air?
I wanted to ask you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we need to remind folks that that's without Robert Lewis. That's without Tyron Allen. That they won that game last night, And I haven't had an opportunity to view the film yet. That's the first thing on my agenda once I wrap up what I'm currently doing here. But that had to be a heck of a coaching job by Coach Moore to win that game undermanned that Bel Air team is now without their two leading rebounders.
Robert Lewis, for those of you that it might not be super regular, he was a senior. He stands about 6'6", but he has arms the length of someone about 6'9", perhaps. A very menacing defender, but I don't think he's going to be. He will not be returning to the team this year. And that's Chauncey Moore is one heck of a coach. Coach, I remember what I wanted to ask you when Joker brought that up. Mathematically, is there a path to the postseason for Bel Air, notwithstanding the forfeits that they had earlier this year?
Very good question. So, yes, there is a mathematical chance. We know that the basketball sport in Louisiana is done on PowerPoint. Mm-hmm. So, Bel Air, not only Bel Air lost a lot of PowerPoints when the LHSAA took those wins from them, and they took the wins because Tyron Allen and Robert Lewis have both been in school. This is their 10th semester in school.
I see.
And you cannot play. You're only eligible for 8 semesters in school. So oversight on Coach Moore's part, because he was not there when the young men enrolled in school. Mm-hmm. And so when he came and those 2 young men came out for the basketball program, they came out as juniors last year. Mm-hmm. So he checked their ages, and they were within the age limit of the LHSAA rules, but they were not. But he didn't know anything about that they were held back as 9th graders. He didn't know anything about that. So anyway. Yes, to answer your question, there is a mathematical chance. They need to win out. They picked up a lot of power points by beating Plaquemine last night. Mm-hmm. The toughest thing is the first game after the wins were taken, they lost again to Tara. That
Tara team is, well, go ahead, Coach.
Well, but that makes 2 Tara losses now, one the forfeit and the actual loss on the court. So now, actually, Tara is sitting in the driver's seat along with Plaquemine with 1 loss in that district. Both of them now have 1 loss in that district. Oh, wow. Coach,
that's now you got to just bring on. How did that happen? All right, these are kids, so I'm gonna be objective and easy. When we covered Tara or the East Baton Rouge basketball tournament, I thought this team had a lot of challenges. I thought this was a team that might have belonged on the floor with, say, the Broadmoor Buccaneers as opposed to the Bel Air Bengals. How in the world did that happen on the court? I mean, how did that happen?
It was your first game without Robert Lewis and
Gotcha.
Tyron Allen, and the kids just kind of looked lost.
I got
you.
you.
That they were not certain of their roles and how to move on without those 2 large contributors.
Yeah. Well, Bel Air did a good job. It was led by T. Johnson with 19 points, and Eric Matthews had 14. They had a good all-around balance scoring. Percy had 13. Boyd had 7. And so, they came together as a team and was able to pull off that victory. And good luck to these guys, and great coaching job by Coach Moore. I want to finish running through these scores. Denham Springs, 56 to 46.
Watch those guys.
Over Central. And here comes the big guys. East Ascension wins 72 to 34 over Dutchtown, setting up the big matchup Tuesday night down in the bottom.
Oh my! Wait! What was that score again over Dutchtown?
72 to 34.
Oh man, that is some.
That's kind of a rivalry thing, though.
That is some straight fire.
Yeah, straight fire. But it sets up the matchup, the big district matchup between McKinley and East Ascension Tuesday night for the title. So,
Coach,
we'll see how that goes. Glen Oaks wins 50 to 42 over Bruley. I want to give a shout out to Glen Oaks coach. He just hit. They had him on the paper today.
Harvey Adger.
Yeah, Harvey Adger with his 800th win.
Wow.
And so I just want to give shouts out to him, man. And,
Big ups to him. We definitely got it. Harvey Adger is a local legend on the high school basketball scene in Louisiana. All-American sports. Definitely wants to give a big shout out to Coach Adger. He is he's what built that program, and these guys were bulletproof in the '90s. So it seemed, and a lot of talent has come from that school. Off the coaching tree is Coach Jeff Jones of Madison Prep Academy. They are building a dynasty off of there. So from the fruitful tree. I was trying to think of something poetic to say, but a lot of good stuff. Coach Adger is responsible for a lot of good things to come out of his program. Coach Perry Daniels, I have one last question for you. Does Bel Air, you get power points even for losing to an opponent, especially if they're a quality opponent. You can get more points for losing to some opponents than beating some. Does Bel Air get to keep those power points that they got in those forfeits? In other words, as if it were a loss on the court?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, stay tuned. Also, we should mention that Coach Boudreaux started out his high school coaching career under Coach Adger at Glen Oaks.
Hey,
Wow.
More fruit. More
fruit.
Beautiful fruit.
We had Madison Prep winning big, 95-41 over East Feliciana. And Madison Prep is starting to, after that loss against Scotlandville in the East Baton Rouge Parish tournament, I think they're starting to get a little bit of traction and starting to dominate a lot here. Of course, McKinley wins last night, 86-61 over Broadmoor. We have Lee
High?
Yeah, Lee loses to Runnels 73-52. Scotlandville wins over Walker 73-55, and led by Javante Smart. Javante Smart, I got to give it. Javante Smart. We mentioned him last week. Last week I want to say he had 50.
He dropped 50.
He dropped 50 last week. This week he dropped 45.
Oh, man.
Smart is starting to really.
This kid, and he's only a sophomore. He's only a sophomore. Oh, if you're in Scotlandville's district, God bless you, because it's going to be rough. I think it's District 4-5A. If you're in that district, God bless you, because he's not going anywhere for a long time.
Long time, yeah. We got we have Southern Lab win 64-47 over Ascension Catholic.
Good job, but Coach Clark's coaching them up. Yep.
Saint Amar beats Catholic 73-68.
That's interesting.
Yeah, in Catholics.
Do we have anything from the other side of the river in District 6-3A? Any Port Allen or Brewley or Baker or anything like that? Do we have any scores in those guys?
As I'm going down,
I don't know if it came in time last night. Next week on the Louisiana All-American Sports Game of the Week, we will, of course, be going back to our other district, and we become a two-district show to a point, but we'll be covering District 6-3A, some great basketball in West Baton Rouge Parish. The Brewley Panthers, I guess it'll be an inter-parish contest, as the Brewley Panthers will be hosting the Baker Buffaloes. Two coaches who are very good friends of the show, Coach Jamie Holmes of Baker, who's really got that team improving, it seems like, with every game, and Coach Kirby Loop of the Brewley Panthers. So we'll be back on that side of the river very shortly. It doesn't look like, I'm just looking over Joker's shoulder, it doesn't look like we got those scores in time from last night.
Yeah, we didn't. Actually, Brewley wins 60-29 over Glen Oaks.
Ooh.
Let's see, Capital wins 52-28 over Mentorship Academy. And those about all of the scores that I'm getting so far. So.
All right, well, we'll catch you guys up.
So, Eric,
yes, sir.
Depending on what happens with this current McKinley High basketball team, we hope that the current interim coach gets a great opportunity to become the head coach. But if that isn't the case, look for Coach Jamie Holmes to get serious consideration for that job. He has a great relationship with the principal, Brister, and I just couldn't. All last night, I was trying to think of who would be the next head coach, and I would think that unless a candidate emerges that I'm just not familiar with, it's going to be either that interim coach there now, or
Marcus Williams,
or Coach Jamie Holmes.
Once again, that's another person for whom I'd get excited. It really would be. It's a guy I get excited about. Coach Holmes, we've watched him. He took a Class C program at Family Christian and made them regulars in the top 28 over there. And he's taken Baker, which was, I don't want to use the word shambles and exaggerate, but it wasn't. They were a mediocre at best program, and we've watched them literally every single game get better and better and better. So if you're going to give somebody an opportunity, I like that possibility.
Great. Well, we'll see how things turn out, man. It's going to be things are starting to wind out here. Teams are starting to push for these district positions and trying to position themselves for the state tournament. So, man, we're going to get ready. Things are starting to heat up here, and it's starting to get good. I'm going to get ready to go to the music break. I know Coach sent me a link for a song. I'm just now getting it, but I already had something else queued up that I wanted to play. This is the Louisiana All-American Sports Show, Valentine's edition. And so, I know a lot of times, we huff and puff and it's real macho here, in the sports arena, with the guys, and everything. But, I wanted to play a little something. I keep it hip-hop. This song is actually probably the first hip-hop love song. And if you're into hip-hop, you probably should know what this is.
I know.
It's a real classic song. It's probably the first hip-hop love song.
Is this Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith.
LL.
It got to be.
Yep. Oh, yeah. This is a classic.
This when the hard guys, we had all the testosterone and everything. But this was the first time you saw a tough guy in a sense kind of break down, and you know what I mean. So I just thought it was awesome, man. Check it out.
Ooh, look at the women. Where am I going? Sometimes I stare at the wall. That was a Don Juan Suave mofo. Boy, LL Cool J, boy, all the ladies wanted him, all the guys wanted to be him. Looking smooth. I'll be waiting. I love you.
Yeah, man. I laid on my jacket so you could walk over a puddle.
That brother is in his mid-40s, and women still just, I get so tired of hearing about LL. And whoo, he's so fine. Anywhere I go, shoot.
Yeah, he was the man. You talk about, hip-hop, especially young people. They just see him on CSI. They don't really know how big LL really was. He
was a pioneer. Yeah. He pushed it. He was one of those guys that pushed it, helped push it into the mainstream.
Yeah, most definitely, man. But,
absolutely.
Yes, indeed, man. But we talked about the LL Cool J, and now we have to get into a little bit of controversy.
We got to get our hands dirty.
Yeah, we got to get our hands dirty a little bit, man. Of course, we had the Super Bowl last Sunday, and, man, things didn't turn out too well for Cam.
No Cam.
It wasn't no Cam as the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl over the Carolina Panthers in a very, very competitive defensive matchup in the Super Bowl 50 anniversary. A lot of controversy in this game. Mm-hmm. Number one controversy, not only was Cam in the press conference after losing the game, he caught a lot of flack for walking out of the press conference. But one of the biggest things that was even bigger than the game almost was the halftime show with Beyonce releasing her song Formation. She released a video the day before the Super Bowl, which I thought was a strategic move, and she took the opportunity at the halftime to release her single, and the song was called Formation, and it was a dedication almost to it was a song about police brutality in a sense, and it was a song about where she came out representing the Black Panthers, and they came out with the uniforms on. Also, with a cross between Michael Jackson. She was honoring Michael Jackson.
That was
the
something.
50-year anniversary of the Black Panthers. And she caught a lot of flack for that. People saying that it was a racist performance.
Some people.
Race biting. Well, mostly, from what I see, conservative.
Right.
Fox News, a couple of people on there, contributors that spoke on it. Mayor Giuliani spoke on it, and man, he just made himself just.
I'm just gonna shut my mouth.
Yeah, how do you want to?
I mean, because he needs to have a dose some things I can't say over the airways. I'll just leave it at that.
This guy here has the nerve to pass judgment on someone, and a person that I hate to put his business. Well, it's pretty much public knowledge. He's been married 3 times. He's been caught cheating several times.
I do a lot of military uniform stuff. When I want to say something I can't say over the airways, I'll just say he has to have a big dose of Sigma, Tango, Foxtrot uniform. I'm pretty sure you can figure that one out. And I'll leave that at that.
Right. But which I thought the video and I thought the song was awesome. I thought it was a great I thought what she did was wonderful. You know, to take that platform to stand up to say, "Hey, we're tired of police brutality." It's not a song about anti-police. It's a song about anti-police brutality, and so that's where people seem like they're getting it mixed up. They're saying like she's talking about anti-police brutality. You know, and if you're not with that, if you're not in agreement with that, then I don't understand, you know.
Right. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
You know, you want cops smacking you upside the head. I mean,
Go ahead, Coach. I know Coach.
Go ahead, Coach. Yeah, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Well, man, first of all, I couldn't understand what the controversy was about.
Me neither, Coach.
Once I heard the song, then I went back and listened to the song, and it dawned on me. Okay, so as I'm listening to this song, Beyonce is talking about how she loves her Negroes with Jackson 5 noses, and that is a reference to the big nose that.
Coach.
We might have lost him. What was he saying? I'm taking a guess, Joe. Can you tell me if I'm wrong? The big nose that Michael Jackson used to have? I'm guessing.
Yeah, he was saying in the lyrics of the song, she makes references to that she's proud of her big nose, and she makes references to her father being from Alabama, her mother's from Louisiana, and she said you mix that black man with the Creole, and you get, you know, this Texas mama.
Fine. Yes, indeed.
It was a nice gumbo right there.
Yeah,
you know?
she can put her.
It was a nice mixture.
But
you know.
Well, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a lovely mixture. It's good gumbo.
Right. So I think that's what Coach was referring to. We'll try to see if we can get Coach called back here in a minute.
I'll keep our eyes out. But
be on.
I know he had to run pretty soon
for the phone. But so those were my thing. I also think to what Perry was saying with, you know, this, like I said, this is a song about anti-police brutality, you know, and with the things that's going on. And so they try to compare the Black Panthers and said, well, if white Americans went out and had hoods on, so they're trying to compare the KKK to the Black Panthers, and
I don't
two
see,
totally different groups.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have a party that was obviously a little more radical, very far on the left, but their original purposes were to monitor police activity. There was a lot of police brutality in Oakland in the late 60s. There were anti-de facto segregation. There were anti-military draft, which, oh, by the way, went away after the Vietnam War, so I think they were right about something. When you have groups like this, and especially when it's all about leadership, and I do think, I'm going to tread very softly, very carefully here, but I do think there may have been some shortcomings in leadership that might have led to some undesirable things that once the media got a hold of it, especially your mainstream media and law enforcement, could maybe put the party in an unfavorable light. In point of fact, they dissolved a very long time ago, but their original purpose was to right wrongs, period. You had police brutality in California. You still have police brutality in California, not as bad as in the 60s or in the 90s, but it was to get a handle on that. Exactly. De facto segregation, as far as I'm concerned, that is evil. Exactly. They were against that. The military draft, the military seems to be a heck of a lot better as far as their morale now that you have an all-volunteer force. I think anybody in the armed services would tell you that now, if you're going to do before and after. So they were right on their core principles. Now, if there are ancillary things that went on outside of that, and I'm not that informed, I'll be the first to tell you, but yeah, that's a whole different thing. But their core principles, and you look at what's going on today with law enforcement, I don't see a problem with those core principles. And I think to throw dirt on Beyonce, I think is just, you know, it's the Fox News crowd doing what it does, and God bless you. That's all I can say.
Well, you know, it's almost like it was a great strategy, I think, on her part, because we're talking about it and everyone is talking about it. So
that's true.
Free promotion.
Kind of like we talked about with Donald Trump last night, you know?
And on the other hand, the Black Panthers was created, like you said, out of police brutality. They're coming into the neighborhood, so they wanted to protect themselves. They started the lunch program, the WIC. Mm-hmm. People get WIC and all that for their kids because of the Black Panthers. They started that program.
And not just black people.
Right. People in general, exactly. So they started certain programs. They started feeding the elderly and feeding having tutors for kids coming out of school and this type of thing. My point was that you can't blame the chemo. You have to blame the cancer.
Cancer, right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like people are trying to blame what came out of police brutality, which was the Black Panthers, and tried to put them on the same level as what started the Black Panthers. It's not the same. You can't compare the same.
I tell you what, you mentioned WIC. I promise you that with all the WIC offices in West Virginia, they don't look like you or me, but they can thank the Black Panthers for having some food on the table. Anyway, I'm digressing badly. Look, we got to talk about our boys, our young men here. As I know we're usually getting a little bit of a late start in our college segment. We would be remiss if we did not talk about our boys in Baton Rouge on the hardwood. Oh yeah, the Southern University Jaguars. They're hot. They are having one fantastic season, a chance to compete for conference honors. Now they were dealt a tough blow. They're 6-3 in conference play now. Last week, kind of what I expected. They played at home. They won their home. They won. Strike that. They went to Grambling and beat the Grambling Tigers. They didn't just use them as punching bags. Grambling put up a fight, but at the end of the day, I'll get everything twisted here. Let's get back down here. Okay, yes, they put up a fight, but in the end they beat Grambling handily by double digits, and then they were nipped by Jackson State on the road. Both those games were on the road, and I kind of figured JSU would be a tough battle for them, even though JSU has a losing record. Southern has struggled a little bit on the road. That dropped Southern to 6-3, and they're in a little bit of peril now for SWAC honors. They pretty much have to run the table and get a little bit of help. It's not inconceivable because they have Texas Southern still has to come here to the F.G. Clark Activity Center. Prairie View A&M still has to make a trip to the F.G. Clark Activity Center. And those are the two games at the end of the year, and you never know if one might deal the other a blow between then and now. But what we have now is Southern now coming off the loss of Jackson State. That snapped a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Snapped an 8-game winning streak. So the Jags are winners of 8 of their last 9. And hey, just what the doctor ordered is coming to town today as Arkansas Pine Bluff comes to the F.G. Clark Activity Center. That game is at 5:30 this afternoon. It will be televised on Cox Sports. Arkansas Pine Bluff is just the punching bag. 2 punching bags they ordered. They are dead last in the hang on, let me go ahead and correct this here. Dead last in the SWAC SWAC sorry, let me back up. Got my stuff mixed up. Jackson State. Let me give you the records of the teams in the standings. I went to SWAC.org. I clicked on the wrong link. I apologize. Texas Southern 9-1. Southern University now 8-3, so they're going to need some help. Jackson State 8-3 with the tiebreaker over Southern. Alcorn State 8-3. Mississippi Valley coming up. They're 5-6, and it goes on down. My point, very simply, Alabama A&M is what the doctor ordered. I expect them to slap their conference rivals all over the F.G. Clark Activity Center. I just said Alabama A&M. I am tongue-tied today. Arkansas Pine Bluffs, what the doctor ordered. And then Mississippi Valley State is coming. That should be an easy win in the F.G. Clark Activity Center. So, look, I'm going to go on the first. I'm going to go with a Southern sweep for their next 2 contests coming up. Southern over Arkansas Pine Bluff, Southern over Mississippi Valley. I just stumbled through that whole segment. My bad, folks.
Is it 2 games or is it 3? I was looking at the schedule. I think it may be 3 games before next Saturday.
They have APB today, then Mississippi Valley State on Monday. The next Saturday they have Alabama State. I'm looking at Go Jag Sports. If there's something else that's changed, that's possible.
Wow. Well, I think I'm going to go with Southern too. I was very impressed with Adrian Rogers. He had 30 against.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that.
And he was 8 of 14 shooting. And they was able to. He also scored 18 points in the second half. That's what pushed him to be able to get the double-digit win. So Southern is. I thought they was going to win that last game. They're really having trouble on the road.
They are.
With not even good teams. They've lost several games on the road against mediocre teams.
Well, now look, they have 3 road losses this year. Once to Texas Southern, that's the king of the conference, as I said, until someone dethrones them. Prairie View A&M, they're solid, but that should be a manageable game, and they lost by 6 points. Jackson State's right there with Southern, though. I mean, they literally have the same conference record at 8-3. So and it was a 1-point game. So I don't think that what we do see, Joker, and I would agree with you on this. This is a team that clearly plays better at home.
At home.
There's just no getting around. This is a different team, and they are on. And like I said, they should really run over these opponents. The Monday game will be at 7:30 p.m. on AM 1460 WXOK. So that is all you can.
You're picking Southern.
I'm picking Southern in both games. Yes, sir.
I'm picking Southern in both games too.
So now we've got the Jags. The Jags hanging in there, fighting for dear life in the conference. I think they'll be all right. They're going to be all right. We'll see what they do in the SWAC tournament. They got to knock off the champ, though. They got to knock off Texas Southern. That game is going to be huge. I think it'll be very telling. So, meanwhile.
On the other side of town, moving quickly, rolling swiftly in the hoopty ride.
In the hoopty ride on McCaddy, all the way to the LSU campus. And the LSU Tigers, like I said, I'm getting my Dennis Green on right now. They are who we thought they were. They are who we thought they were.
We let them off the hook.
And they let them off the hook. You know, the team is becoming so predictable. They're just becoming so predictable. I don't even know what, you know, they have the best player in the country, or at least the number one draft pick coming up. They in the 2016 draft. They have talent all around. They have good senior leadership with guys like Tim Quarterman. But I'm telling you, their strategies. We just used an 8-ball and MJG clip to introduce LSU. I'm going to use another drop from 8-ball and MJG. I don't understand your plan at all, man. Because I mean, you have the Oklahoma game. They didn't get Ben Simmons the ball. South Carolina, hey, good for them. They went on the road, put up 83 points. That's a lot, but they coughed up 94. No defense whatsoever. I just don't get what's going on with this team. They beat Mississippi State, a team they should have beat. Now they have number 15 Texas A&M coming to the PMAC, and they also host Alabama on Wednesday. Let's talk Texas A&M. This Texas A&M team has quietly kind of risen to the upper echelons of college basketball. Right. They slapped LSU all around in College Station the last time they met. LSU seems to play up at home, and as you mentioned last week, Joker, particularly with games that are national television, this game is on CBS and will start immediately after our show is over. So, when you have a big game like that and the eyes are upon you, I think LSU is going to step it up. I'm actually going to pick a minor upset. I think LSU is actually going to find a way to hold court at the PMAC, hold court on their court, and beat Texas A&M, even though they're probably underdogs. They seem to play up. Then they have Alabama coming to the Maravich Center. First I'm going to stop there. So that's my take on Texas A&M. I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Man, Texas A&M has been rising in the ranks, and they're ranked number 15 right now. This is one of the last chance for LSU to be able to try to get a significant win with a ranked team. If you go on ESPN.com, they have LSU. They had LSU almost they had them on the front page as one of the bubble teams.
And they are who we thought they were.
Oh, go ahead, Joker. I was just getting some background for you.
Hey, you know what I mean? But I think this is one of the last time LSU has, one of the last chances they have to be able to get a significant win, to be able to get that at-large bid.
They got to.
They have to, and the powers that be want to see LSU in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you?
Simmons, right. We want to see him, and everyone wants to see him.
But they are who we thought they were.
And so I am hoping. I really am hoping. Like I said, they do play well on national games and on the big stage. 2-point loss they beat Kentucky, and then they had a 2-point loss to the number one team.
They
let that game go. They could have won that game. Exactly. I could have said it no better, Mr. Green. But I'm going to pick LSU. This is a desperate game. They really, really need this win, so I'm gonna go with LSU in this game.
I think LSU.
But they are who we thought they were.
And that being said, Texas A&M is a team that they don't really have a superstar in that team. They play great team ball. They move it and they fight under the boards. And I think LSU is on the same level as they are, and with the home court, I think they're capable of beating Texas A&M. It's going to bring Alabama up. Alabama's coming up on Wednesday to the PMAC. I think total talent-wise, I think LSU might have just the slightest edge on Alabama. Coaching-wise, I think Alabama has a big advantage on LSU, but they are playing at the PMAC. I do think there's a sense of desperation. That game is going to be on the SEC Network and also on Eagle 98.1 at 8 p.m. on Wednesday night. Again, this could go either way. I mean, LSU could drop both these games, but I do expect them, just based on what I've seen, and they've been who I thought they were all year, I expect them to beat Alabama. I expect them to be very competitive, but I do expect them to win that game on Wednesday night.
I expect them to win the game on Wednesday night, too. Like I said, I think right now it's desperate for them. They have to come together as a team. Now, they lose these two games, that's going to put them at 15-11, and I think it'll be pretty much no shot.
No,
for the tournament.
No, they'd have to run the table in the SEC tournament. That'd be their only chance.
That'd be the only chance to get in there. So, but amazingly, LSU is at the top of the SEC. Just to go to show you how weak the SEC is this year, LSU is in first place in SEC.
Whoa.
Won't you check that out? I saw those statistics today. LSU is in first place in the SEC.
Wow.
Do you see it up there?
No, I'm about to check it out right now. It's one of those things where LSU's been disappointing me so much, I just kind of stick my head in the sand when it comes to looking at things like their SEC record. I just kind of assume they were fair and middling, but wow. I mean, they're 8-3 in SEC play. I'm looking at that right now. I didn't realize that was good enough for first place in the Southeastern Conference, but I'll take your word for it. So they got to be tied with somebody.
Yeah, they're tied with somebody.
Against Kentucky
let's pull that up and see.
Wow, Joker, I didn't know that, and it's funny. Sometimes I can get so caught up in the local stuff that I did not look at the big picture. That is going to be interesting because of LSU, and obviously they've had some undesirable losses. There's no getting around that. But if LSU is currently in first place in the Southeastern Conference and keeps it up, that does not bode very well for the Southeastern Conference in the big dance. And yeah, you're right, Joker. They're tied right there. They're actually ahead of Texas A&M in conference play. They're tied with Kentucky and South Carolina. So and of course and that's be a three-way tie. I don't know how that would shift out in terms of seedings for the Southeastern Conference tournament. But that goes to show they lost 6 games out of conference, and a lot of those out of conference games are early in the year against inferior opponents. Oklahoma was out of conference, obviously. But all I'll say about LSU is,
but they are who we thought they were.
And so we'll go ahead, though. Speaking of making predictions, and I know we're kind of running a little short on time here, so we'll go ahead and get our regular segment of I Told You So, but we'll see how this unfolds. Like I said, it's going down right after the show's over. By the way, speaking of right after the show's over, we have coming up
Noel Jackson
with Music Satisfaction right here on 96.9 FM, WHYR Baton Rouge Community Radio.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
For the road trip, for the homestand rather, for this first game, I'm just talking Grambling right now. I've got the Southern Jaguars. Correct.
And, with me, I'm going to second that. I'm going to go with Southern University to beat Grambling.
You know I'm definitely not picking Grambling over Southern University in anything. So
We need to be professional.
So yeah, and look, I'm about 6 feet away from a Jackson State alumni, so I'm not picking Jackson State.
So I'm going with Southern.
Monday at Jackson, Mississippi on the road, I'm gonna pick pick Jackson State Tigers in Monday's game over the Southern Jaguars. I expect LSU to win. I don't expect them to blow Mississippi State to smithereens, but I do expect it to be decided in the final 2 minutes. Be decided before the final 2 minutes.
I also expect LSU to win this game.
Coach?
It's unanimous. I'm LSU as well.
I'm picking the South Carolina Gamecocks on Wednesday.
I'm picking LSU in that game. I'm going to go LSU. Okay.
Coach?
All right, I'm going to take South Carolina in that game. I am taking Denver and the Panthers.
So you're taking the spread and the over.
Denver plus 5.5. That is...
That's my pick. Who you got?
I got Vegas.
Oh! Yeah! So I'm definitely going to go with Cam Newton to win the Super Bowl and usher in a new...
Oh, Cam!
So, all that being said, I'm going to take Cam. They are the better team.
Who I think's going to win the game? Well, I'll tell you who's going to win the game. Cam. Oh, Cam.
Say hello to my little friend.
Wow.
Ooh, yeah, it went very badly.
Damn.
For Cam.
My brother called me and said, damn. Oh, damn.
Oh, man. So, look, we got about 3 minutes left. We definitely got to recap the Super Bowl. You know, all I can say is that
Defense wins championship.
defense wins championships. It's a cliche, but it also cliches become cliches because they're true. Oh, we had some footage from the Newton household shortly after that game, live and direct. We were all over the place here on Louisiana All-American Sports.
Yes, indeed.
And you know, I gotta say, DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, especially Von Miller, those two guys are something else. The way leaders and playmakers make plays, and the way they blew New England off the earth. And then pretty much blew Carolina off the earth. They showed that they showed they wanted it, and they showed how they were going to get it.
Yeah, they definitely did. Hats off to the Denver Broncos defense. These guys, man, they showed that defense does win championship. I think Cam Newton them didn't step up to the to the pressure and to all of the the build up of the Super Bowl. I think it may have gotten to them a little bit. They played kind of tight, made a lot of turnovers and mistakes, and you can't do that. And so hats off to Denver. Peyton Manning rides off on his horse.
Yeah, no, good for him. He's a good guy, and he's been a good ambassador of the game. I'm assuming he's not coming back next year. I can't possibly imagine why. But
Would you come back?
and look, the Panthers' the future's bright. Cam is very, very young, and the Panthers are going to be in contention for every year for many years to come.
Hurts us.
Look, we only got about a minute left, and we're stuck in a division with with Matt Ryan, who, say what you will, is one of the better quarterbacks. Right. Cam Newton and Jameis Winston, who had one heck of a rookie year. We are stuck with those guys, and Drew Brees only had but maybe 3 or 4 years left at the most. So I'll tell you what I said when I saw Jameis Winston got drafted and watched Cam Newton have an MVP season. I looked at the schedule and I said, oh boy!
Boy, what fun we had, man! It's been a great show. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I want to tell my mother to get well, Gwen Hawkins. And everybody else, and I love y'all, my brothers in town. We shouts out to Gouda Fresh, and see y'all next week. Shout outs to Baton Rouge's semi-pro team, the Louisiana Eagles, getting ready to play real soon. Perry would say, ADT JNS love you, and I gotta say, have a good afternoon.
Hail to the king and lords of lords. May he protect us from the evil. Hail to the king, lords of lords.